What's up internet, Kevin here with TLD. Now that we've had conferences from both Sony and Microsoft regarding their new systems, I thought we'd do a quick little comparison vid to let you guys know what we know so far and how the two systems differ. Now to begin with, from a hardware perspective, there aren't that many differences actually from what we've been told so far. Both of the systems are running off of 8-core processors, although Microsoft hasn't specified the actual power of theirs yet, and both use 8 gigs of RAM, as well as having Blu-ray players, USB 3.0 ports, so on and so forth. So overall, from what details we've been given, more or less the same systems performance-wise once we start seeing games on them. Now what we do know in terms of big differences between the two systems are the images that they're trying to convey. Microsoft on the one hand with the Xbox One is trying to create a multimedia device that encompasses everything, allowing you to watch television and movies, listen to music, play games, browse the internet, or even talk with friends over Skype, being able to run programs simultaneously or switch between them seamlessly, all at the touch of a button, or in this case, at the sound of a phrase. Sony on the other hand has placed much greater emphasis on the PS4 being a gaming system first and foremost, albeit with a number of social functions added on to expand it. It is worth noting that a lot of these social options though are still gaming centric, for instance allowing you to rewind and record gameplay to post later, live streaming to your friends, or being able to play a game while it's still being downloaded off the net. Now the difference in emphasis between the two systems was not only shown through how they discussed the UI, but also in terms of what types of games and content they announced for them. Microsoft for instance announced a grand total of about 5 games at their conference, 2 of which are EA Sports titles that will be on both systems, Call of Duty Ghosts also on both systems, with the only exclusives being Forza 5, and a new title by the name of Quantum Break, which really only got a teaser trailer from. Alongside these game announcements, they also announced a television series based off the Halo franchise that will stream exclusively through the Xbox One, further emphasizing how the system wants to emphasize multimedia instead of just games alone. Now they did quickly mention that they do have 15 exclusive games planned for the system within its first year of launch, however they didn't qualify what this constitutes as a game. We could just be ending up with 3 different sequels to Connected Adventures, as well as having some downloadable titles, though they did say that 8 of them would be new franchises. Now Sony on the other hand roughly announced about 10 games for their system, half of which were console exclusives, given some of them were more long-term releases that aren't going to be at launch, and others were more motion-based games or small-time releases that are downloadable, but still more actual games with real gameplay footage. That was actually one of the biggest stark differences I saw between the two conferences. With Sony we're getting a lot of actual in-game footage that is the game being played, whereas Microsoft was a number of pre-rendered cutscenes that looked pretty, but didn't necessarily tell us what actually playing the game would feel like. Now given all of this is based off of just 2 press conferences that only add up to about 3 hours of talking, most of which was more buzzwords than actual hard info, so there's still a lot to be released in terms of what the systems can do and what games we can expect at launch. Now what this means that hopefully this coming June at E3 we'll get a lot more actual hard info for the things we want, including launch titles, an actual set release date, and price points for each system. But what it really comes down to is when we actually have the systems in our hands this coming holiday season and can compare not only what games are on them, but how all these new features integrate with them. Well, that was just a quick wrap up of what we know about both systems and how they compare currently. If you want to read up more on the subject, check out the links in the description. As always guys, thanks for checking out our videos. If you enjoyed this one, please make sure to like it as it really helps out the channel and I'd really appreciate it. And if you have yet to, make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of our latest news, reviews, and unboxings. As always, I'm Kevin for TLD and I'll see you next time.